Hello, welcome back. Thank you again for joining me. I'm so happy to have you guys continue to listen to my story. Should brought my water over every time I start talking. Um, if you haven't been following my story for a while, please go back to the very first episode as I'm telling my entire ascension story from the beginning to the end of my 5-year physical journey. But then a lot happened before that, and then a lot has happened since that. I kind of say it started from April 2020 to April 2025. And then things started to get into this finalization period. I've talked about the 9-year cycle, which plays a big importance in your ascension journey. So I'll leave the link for that also below, which if you know anything about the 9-year, your personal year cycle, I really feel like it plays a big part in your ascension because you can kind of tell what's going to happen from year to year. Like I could say my journey was 9 years, whereas the physical part of it was 9 years, but the physical part of it was 5 years. Okay. Um, So in my last video, I was talking about giving my letter of resignation, that a lot had happened at work that just didn't seem right. And um, so I was in that 2-week period of waiting to resign, and it was going to be on June 19th, which is a national holiday, Juneteenth. And I thought it was so weird that it was falling on that date, which is it's supposed to be when the proclamation came that the American slaves were released. So, but the timing just happened to be that way. So a lot happened during that 2 weeks of me now trying to finish up the work that I had on my desk, hand over work to other members of my team. Um, and still kind of reeling from understanding that my manager, who I thought had my back during that entire time, kind of wondering like she really didn't have my back. And she kind of said that it was some kind of misunderstanding between what she had reported to HR and what had happened with this person I had been dealing with, whom I've been calling Patty. So um, I was excited to be leaving there because I didn't want to deal anymore with what had been happening. I felt like everyone kind of was against me, even though it probably wasn't that. Everyone still acted nice. But I don't know if you've ever been around someone who demands your um, attention, your what do you call it? What's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of it. But anyway, just kind of demands that you be on their side. I can't think of the word. Keeps coming to me and it goes. Bear with me 1 second. Sorry about that. Um, anyway, I knew too that for the last 2 months, I would say, I was getting this kind of intuitive hit, to leave my job, like it was time to leave. So, giving you a little bit of background also, back in 2017, which was my personal year one, my first year of my 9-year journey, my father had come to me in spirit. He had passed away in 2003. So, through a medium, he had told me that you're going to be leaving your job and um, that I would go on to do, some kind of other work, along with having psychic gifts. And at that time, I had worked on Wall Street and said, there was no way I could leave my Wall Street job, not understanding that this would be a twofold thing. I would leave that job and then go on my journey, but then get this other job that I would now have to leave permanently. So I'm going to do a whole nother video on that, because that's a big thing of those who are on this journey, knowing that you're never going to have to, hopefully, for those truly on this journey, you are meant to do other things um, spiritually. You're not meant to work on a secular job anymore. Once you are kind of have an intuitive knowing that it's time for you to move on from that job, you're not going to go back to a secular job. So I know that this is part of my um, purpose, is to teach others. I am a spiritual teacher. All the knowledge that I've gained over the last 15 or so years of spirituality, and now having a greater knowledge of it because of this ascension journey that I've gone through. So it was kind of being in a weird place, because knowing during that 2 weeks of my 2 week notice, saying that, wow, once I leave this job, I'm not going to go back to another secular job, 9 to 5. Also was time that saying, okay, I only have so much money to kind of get me by for the next couple months. I didn't know when Spirit was going to bless me with more income. Um, and I kind of told you guys before, that a lot of this journey is about gaining full trust in Spirit. And a lot of times we come to this point where, if you're on this journey, you know that you say, okay, Spirit, I give it to you. I know I'm going to get through this, whatever you're going through at that time. And it's as difficult as it is. Um, Sometimes you get to this point where, I don't know if Spirit hears me or sees what I'm going through, and you want to kind of take the reins, take control of the situation, because I'm like, I don't, even myself, I don't know if Spirit is seeing what I'm going through right now. Believe me, they see everything. I say they, but the universe sees everything. Also, I see your spirit guides, like my family in spirit. All my grandparents had come to me through a medium in spirit to give me instructions. My father, my son, who had passed away in 2007 when he was 19 years old, also came through to me. So I had all these ones around me to kind of help me through this period of time. Um, So as I was talking about finances, saying, okay, I probably have enough money to get me through for a couple months, but after, you know, I was thinking, okay, September, I said after October, so like, I don't know what I'm going to do. But I knew I had this feeling even before I had given my resignation, that I needed to kind of stock up. And I'm a member of BJ's Wholesale. And usually every time, I got paid and I went food shopping, I would go there and just kind of get bulk meat and things like that. So I started kind of already, had been kind of bulking up on meat, not even knowing that I was going to quit work. And my freezer kind of was filled up, and kind of starting to get things that would last for a very long time. Um, like in big packs of like the toilet paper and paper towels and cleaning supplies and things like that. And little things, like body wash and um, shampoos and anything I could think of that I would need to last me like 3, 4 months. So, and then just praying, saying, Spirit, I hope you got me after that. Um, so I did that over the next couple weeks. And just it was this preparation for leaving work. And I didn't know what was going to happen once I left, but I was like so excited to just know that after June 19th, I would not have to come back to this job. I would never have to see Patty again, not have to deal with that energy again. And I pretty much thought I knew I probably would not go back to a 9 to 5 again. But of course, not truly knowing, understanding exactly everything that was going to happen. Um, I was already getting up every morning at 4:40, 4:30, 4:45 every morning. I'm just an early bird anyway. And even though I usually woke up before the alarm rang, just having that alarm on and then, turning it off and just like no more alarms. Like all my working life, having to wake up to an alarm. And as many of you know what that feels like, there's this natural beauty in allowing your body to sleep when it's ready to go to sleep and to wake up when it's ready to wake up. And um, getting the amount your body knows the amount of sleep that it needs. And to kind of be jolted out of sleep by an alarm clock is so unnatural. And I couldn't wait for that time to come, um, that I never had to use an alarm clock again. Even I thought about like my appointments or whatever, would I need an alarm clock? And in most cases, even if I had an early appointment at 9 o'clock, I still wake up at like 5:30 now, 6 o'clock or so. Um, but just kind of really thinking about what it was going to be like after June 19th. Also, as I had said before, um, I hadn't heard from Walter since after the day after Memorial Day. And I had said, okay, here we go again. This was the now third or fourth time, third time, third time that we had kind of like broke up. And within such a short time of really dating. Um, and it was at the point of just kind of, if you're understanding this journey about a divine feminine and divine masculine, kind of just being tired of that. Like, I'm not chasing you. If you want me to chase you, I'm not chasing you, this type of thing. And I was already exhausted by what I had gone through at the house. If you remember back with Kate, that just getting over through all that, getting through all of this that had happened now at the job, and now this exhaustion, you know, with this dating thing. And I was like, at this point, like, do I even want to date anymore? So just trying to put that to the side, not think about that and deal with this work issue. Let me get finished with this job, end it, and then move on from there. So I'm going to end this one here, and I'll tell you what happened on Juneteenth in the next episode. Okay. Thanks for being here. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.